Hello guys, today we are going to do the chapter 6 of Political Science grade 7 Understanding Media. In this chapter, we will learn about various things related to media, media forms, its usage, and in different areas how media works. Here you can see the media forms in which you can see a person is talking on a mobile. You can see that various forms of television are kept there. Apart from that, a person is playing music on the guitar and large population is watching him. You can see that posters are being set on walls and on banners. Along with that, you can see that people are working in a place and they are making mobile phones. They are in cafe. There is a satellite and different things are there. There one cafe price tag is also given, and we can see that these are the different forms of media which is existing there. Understanding media. What is your favorite TV program? So everybody has a TV program as a favorite. What do you like listening to on the radio? Everybody, the music. Why newspaper and magazine do you usually read? Which newspaper or magazine do you usually read? So which piece of newspaper you like? So it might be different. It might be Times of India. It might be Telegraph. Many newspapers are available throughout the country. So many newspapers are there, many magazines are there which you read. Do you surf the internet and what have you found most useful about it? Did you know that there is one word that is often used collectively to refer radio, TV, newspapers, internet, and several other forms of communication? This word is media. In this chapter, you will read more about the media. So, what things are related to media? What is media? All things we will be going to learn through this chapter. You will find out what is required to make it work as well as the ways in which the media affects in our daily lives. Can you think of one thing that you have learned from this media this week? So everything you are watching on television or wherever you go, and you are seeing that something is going on, something is happening around you on television, you get the news or in newspaper. So many things were there. Like in the last week, you have seen that in your local area there were elections, or in your local area there was polling, or in your local area there was a incident. So all these things have come to you, or you are known to those things through media. Everything ranging from the stall at the local fair to a program that you see on TV is called media. Media is the plural form of the word medium, and it describes various ways through which we communicate in society. Because media refers to all the means of communication, everything ranging from a phone call which you receive at your home, or to the evening news on TV, or can be called as media. You go home, you find that your father and mother is sitting and they are watching television and some news is going on. So what is that? That is also media. TV, radio, and newspapers are a form of media that reaches millions of people. So it means throughout the world. Many countries are there, 182 countries, 192 countries. Wherever, whichever country is there, they all are having certain forms of media. And in that, TV and radio is the most prominent one. The newspaper also, which reaches to millions of people, and they are reading news and getting information about a particular incident, or the masses across the country and the world, and thus they are called mass media. So TV, radio, and newspapers are form of mass media. Now you can see some important inventions on the screen. First invention is the electronic typewriter, which changed the world of journalism, and you will see that a sea change took place and in the 1940s, and after that typing started. Next is you can see John Logie Baird, who invented the television. He is sitting with an apparatus which he called as the televisor, and it is the most oldest form of television when it was invented. According to that, you can find that this television was the first one on which we saw all the things. And now what we are having, we have LED screens, all those being simply you are hanging it on the wall and you are viewing that. Next is an artist impression of Gutenberg printing the first sheet of the Bible. So you can see that Bible's first sheet, you can see you have read Bible or you have gone through Bible, you'll see that there are many names that who was related to whom. So that first sheet has been printed by the inventor of this printing press, Gutenberg. So that he is having, a painter has painted that impression. Media and technology. It would probably be difficult for you to imagine your life without the media, obviously. But cable television and the widespread use of internet is a recent phenomena. They have been around then for less than 20 years, approximately 97-98 was the time when it came to India. It started, and a few cities and towns we were having that. The technology that mass media used keep changing. So whatever technology we are having, it keeps changing. You see that we were having different kinds of phones in 2007. We were having Nokia phones. Those phones were treated as the most prominent variety of phones, but today they are of no use. At that time we were having keypads in the phones. Now we don't have keypads. Now we are having touch screen phones. So all these things are change in media. Newspaper, television and radio can reach millions of people because they are using certain technology. We also tend to discuss newspaper and magazines as the print media. So what are newspaper and magazine? Print media. And TV and radio as the electronic media. Why do different technologies, why do you think newspapers are called print media? Because we print it, and these are on paper, it is in a printed form. As you read further, you will find that this naming is related to the different technologies that these media uses. The following photographs will give you a sense of the ways in which technology that mass media uses to change over the years and continues to change. Changing technology or machines and making technology more modern helps media to reach more people. It also improves the quality of sound and the images that you see. But technology does no more than this. It also changes the ways in which we think about our lives. So you can see that they can make all any kind of people, they can transform the whole person, what he is looking actually, or to what he wants to look like. For example, today is a quite difficult for us to think of our lives without television. No, it's not the time. Now we are not comfortable without our mobile phones. Television has enabled us to think of ourselves as member of the larger global world. Obviously, there are more than 200, 300 channels, and they are showing you news of each and every part of the world. Then you can say that yes, you are the part of that global world. Television images travel huge distances through satellites and cables. This allows us to view news and entertainment channels from other parts of the world. Most of the cartoons that you see on television are mostly from Japan and the United States. You have seen Shinchan, Ryotsu, Koche Kamen. These are the cartoons which you come there. Richie Rich. These are coming from Japan and United States. We can now be sitting in Chennai or Jammu, and we can see images of a storm that hit the coast of Florida in the United States of America. Television has brought the world closer to us. Media and money. The different technologies that media use are expensive. So what it want to say you that media has to use certain technology in order to fulfill all its needs and demands. So for fulfilling its needs and demand, it has to use certain technology. So what sort of technology it will use? The different technology that mass media use are expensive, means it requires more money. For a camera you need lakhs and lakhs of rupees. Just think about the TV studio in which all the news readers sits. So once you need the studio, a studio is not a simple thing. It needs a lot of money to construct. It has lights, that too costly lights, cameras, sound recorders, transmission satellites, etc. All of which cost a lot of money. In a news studio, it is not only the news reader who needs to be paid, but also a number of other people who help put the broadcast together. So which news it is coming to you, for that news more than 10 or 20 people are working there in that office. One reporter is working outside with the cameraman, and then that particular information reaches you on television. You are watching that and giving your views and expression. This includes those who look after the cameras and lights. Also, you read earlier, the technologies that mass media use keep changing, and so a lot of money is spent on getting the latest technology. Due to these costs, the mass media needs a great deal of money to do its work. So whatever the technology it has to advance, for that they will need the money. As a result, most television channels and newspapers are part of big business houses. So there are many business houses in India, and we all are these news channels are part of them, and they telecast all the different kinds of thing on the television, and the channels or the business houses are paying them money. They will mostly do their ads. Mass media is constantly thinking of the ways to make money. So mass media says that I have to make more and more money. For that, whatever I want to do, whatever things have to be done, we will do. One way in which it mass media earns money is by advertising different things like cars, chocolates, clothes, mobile phones, etc. So these are the luxury items and people are ready to buy. So every day you will find that on television they are adding about some car, they are doing advertisement of chocolates, clothes, mobile phones, etc. You must have noticed the number of advertisement that you have seen while watching your favorite television show. In between it comes, in movies it comes, while watching a cricket match on TV. The same advertisements are shown repeatedly between each over, and so you are often watching the same image over and over again. As we will read in the following chapter, advertisements is repeated in the hope that you will go out and buy what is advertised. So if we all have that habit that many times we see something on television and we immediately go to the market and buy it. Media and democracy. In a democracy, media plays a very important role in news and discussing events, providing news and discussing events taking place in a country and the world. It is on the basis of this information that citizens can, for example, learn how government works. So this media has the role to explain the people how this government is working, the democracy is working, how the political leaders are playing their role. And often, if they wish to, they can take action on the basis of these news stories. Some of the ways in which they can do this is by writing letters to the concerned minister, organizing a public protest, starting a signature campaign, asking the government to rethink its program. Given the role that the media plays in providing information, it is important that the information be balanced. So, whatever information is coming, it should be balanced, it should be under control. Let us understand what we mean by the balanced media report by reading two versions of the same news event given on the next page. So, you in your NCRT book, you are saying that the same event is there, and about that two news channels have advertised some different kind of thing. So what is that? That the same story is there, fact is there, whether it is doing pollution or not, whether it is doing any sort of damage or not, but they are representing that news in two form, and you see that the both the views are totally different with each other. This the fact is that if you have read either newspaper, you would also know one side of the story. If you had read the News of India, you would like most likely think of the protesters as the nuisance who are protesting. They are doing a wrong thing. They are disrupting traffic and continually polluting the city with their factory leaves you with a bad impression on about them. So when you read this part of newspaper or this particular chunk of newspaper, you get a bad impression about the people of that area and the traffic of that area. But on the other hand, if you had read the story of Indian Daily, the other newspaper, you would know that the protesters are because of the lot of livelihoods will be lost in the factories closed because the relocation efforts have not been quite enough. So if that factory, even it is polluting, but if next term comes and in that next term that particular protesters are not getting that factory closed, then many people will lose their jobs. Media and media and democracy continued. Neither of these stories is a balanced report. So both of them are not presenting a balanced report there. So most of these stories is a neither of the stories is a balanced report, and a balanced report is one that discusses all points of view of a particular story. So whatever the story is being created, whatever the element has been added, so what is true about that, what is not true about that, everything is taken into consideration. So a balanced report is one that discusses all the points of a view of a particular story and then leaves it to the readers, like we are the readers of the news, then it will leave it totally upon us that we should make up our mind that what we think by that particular incident. Writing a balanced report, however, depends on the media being independent, whether the media is independent or it is under the control of some certain houses or certain parties or certain thing. An independent media means that no one should control and influence its coverage of news. So whatever it wants to cover and show, that nobody can censor it. No one should tell the media that what can be included and what should not be included in the news story. So I will tell you one thing, that in our country, the government, the courts, the police, and the media, they play the four pillars of our democracy, and here media has to play a pious role, a prominent role, a clear role, a positive role, that no person should face any problem. An independent media is important in a democracy. As you read above, it is on the basis of the information that media provides that we take action as citizens. So it is important that this information is reliable and not biased. However, the reality is that media is far from independent. So media is not totally independent. We think that they are independent, but something different is being cooked inside. This is mainly because of the two reasons. The first is the control that the government has on the media. When the government prevents either or a news item or scenes from a movie or a lyrics of a song from being shared with a larger public, this is referred to as censorship. Means anything you can sing and that will be coming to public, that is not the thing. The censor board will remove the particular things which are not accepted by the society. There have been periods in Indian history when the government censored the media. The worst of these was the emergency between 1975 to 77, when Indira Gandhi lost the general elections and she declared emergency, and at that time the situation was something very insensitive, and many kind of nuisance happened at that time. We are not supposed to discuss it here, but people faced really problem. Nothing was being telecasted. Nobody was knowing in the country that what is really happening or what is really going to happen. Next is your media and democracy again continued. What does the TV do to us and what can we do with TV? So TV is at everybody's house, or now it is the LED or LCD screens. So what we can do with that? In many of our homes, TV is on a lot of the time. In many ways, a lot of our impressions about the world around us are formed by what we see on the TV. So you and I, both of them are there. We have never been to America, but we know most of the things about America because we have seen most of the things on the television, we have read in the books. So again, television here is a media from which we come to know. It is like a window of the world. How do you think it influences us? So yes, it influences us. Many things are there, many people are there who inspire us. TV has different types of programs. Soap operas like Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi. It was a major program on this Star Plus. And game shows like Kaun Banega Crorepati, which the Millennium superstar Amitabh Bachchan is presenting on the television. Reality TV shows like Big Boss, news, sports, and cartoons. Before, in between, and after each program are advertisements. Since TV time costs so much money, only those programs that can attract the maximum number of viewers are shown. So they are not showing anything unusual. They will show you only those things which are paying them or which is having a great impression on a public. Next, can you think of such programs which might be? Think of what are the kinds of things that TV shows and what it does not shows. Does it show us more about the lives of the rich or the poor? It is showing about much of the life of the rich, but to gain the TRP, they are showing also the life of the poor persons, that these persons are their life. Even the musical show or the dance show, you are saying that they are bringing some person and they are saying that he's a poor guy, she's a poor guy, he's not having certain ability, but then also he's good at dancing, and all those things are happening. We need to think about that what TV does to us, however it shapes our views of the world, our beliefs, attitudes, and values. We need to realize that it gives us a partial view of the world, means it is not totally the true view. While we enjoy our favorite programs, we should always be aware of the large exciting world beyond our TV screens. This is so much happening out there that TV ignores. A world beyond film stars, celebrities, and rich lifestyles, a world that all of us need to reach out of and respond to the various ways. We need to be active viewers who question whatever we see and hear, while we may enjoy it too. So, it is not only that every day you are watching TV and busy in that, you should go outside, play, roam here and there, and you should Try to get that what is really happening in that particular your area and what things are there which are taken need to be taken care. Next is your we while the government does not continue to censor films, it does not really censor the media's coverage of news. So government is censoring the films, but it is not censoring the media coverage of news. Despite the absence of censorship by the government, most newspapers nowadays still fail to provide a balanced story. So newspapers are not giving a balanced story, the right story. The reasons for this are are complicated, means the complications are more, the problems are more. People who research the media have said that this happens because business houses control the media. At times it is in at times it is in the interest of these businesses to focus on only one side of the story. So what the media houses want, or the people who are wanting to telecast their news, they only want to publish one side of the story. They don't want to say the both the sides or the real part of the story. Media's continual need for money and its link for advertisement means that it becomes difficult for media to be reporting against people who are giving them advertisement. Media is thus no longer considered independent because of the close links to the business. So these business houses is only providing the money, so they cannot write anything negative about, or they cannot telecast negative about any of the business persons. Besides the above, the media also tends to focus on a particular aspect of a story because they believe this makes the story interesting. So they will show you a story in such a manner that you will get inspired by that story. You will not see that what is the truth there, what is the right thing there. You will just move on by getting attracted by the particular person. And so it is where they want to increase public support for an issue. They often do this by focusing on one side of the story. So this is the wrong notion. Local media. Recognizing that the media will not be interested in covering small issues that involve ordinary people and their daily lives, several local groups have come forward to start their own media. Like in your own city, you are having many channels which are showing your local news and local reports. When you will go to Bengal, there you will find that in Bengal, many young teenagers news reporters are there on Sunday or Saturday for any local news channel. They are preparing certain programs, they are going to the markets, they are taking interviews, and different things are taking place. Several people use commonly radio to tell farmers about the prices of different crops and advise them on the use of seeds and fertilizer. So this is happening in Haryana. In Haryana, people know 5 days before only that when it is going to rain, and that information comes by the satellite, and what the things are lagging in their farms, that is also scanned by the satellite, and the government is only providing them urea, fertilizers, manure that they add to their field, and their field becomes more fertile. Others make documentary films with fairly cheap and easily available video cameras on real life conditions faced by poor communities. You are seeing all these things on Facebook and internet and Instagram. People are doing all these things and they are posting that. And at times have been given the poor these video cameras to make films on their own lives. So now many poor people are also there. What problems they are facing, what differences they are facing, they are making a video on that, they are sharing with the people, and people are helping them according to their will and power. Another example in a newspaper is a newspaper called Khabar Lahariya, which is fortnightly, that is run by 8 Dalit women in Chitrakoot district in Uttar Pradesh. So it is a newspaper running in Uttar Pradesh, run by the Dalit women and the people of that village only. Written in the local language Bundeli. So which language is the theme of that Khabar Lahariya? The Bundeli language used by the people of this Bundelkhand. This 8-page newspaper reports on Dalit issues and cases of violence against women and political corruption. The newspaper reaches farmers. So farmers are reading the newspaper, shopkeepers are reading the newspapers, barbers are reading the newspaper, panchayat members are reading the newspaper, school teachers and women who have recently learned to read and write, they also need these things. Setting agendas. The media also plays an important role in deciding what stories to focus on, and therefore decides on what is newsworthy. For example, means what they have to show in news, or what can be a part of a news which can really be a news, they are asking for that. For example, the annual function at your school is unlikely to make the news, means not at all it will make a news, but a famous actor is invited as a chief guest in your school program, and that will become a that will become an interesting coverage, and the media will come and they will note it like that certain film star came to your particular school, certain film star came to the school campus and he has been giving award to different person. The media influences our thoughts, feelings and actions. So whatever thoughts we are having, whatever feelings are generated inside us, and whatever actions we are doing, most of the things, like especially you children think that the parents or your teachers are not knowing what is going within your mind, but it is not true. We all know that what is happening in the child's mind, and that's why we need to pay attention there, and these things bring some action and brings those issues to attention. Due to the significant influence it plays in our lives and in shaping our thoughts, it is commonly said that the media sets agenda, means whatever agenda is there for the future, whatever things are there, that all things are set by media only. Very recently, the media drew our attention to the alarming level of pesticides in cold drink. A few 5 to 6 years back issue this is. Like the cold drinks which you are drinking, it is containing the pesticides and urea, which is being used as fertilizers in the farms. So they are adding it to the cold drink to make it tastier. They published reports that indicated the high levels of pesticides and thus made us aware of the need of regularly monitor these colas according to international quality and safety standards. So whether this cola are to be drunk or not, so they are measuring that and testing the quality standard of that Coca-Cola. They did this despite the government resistance by boldly declaring that colas were unsafe. So they did this, but government already declared it that colas are unsafe to drink, we must not drink that. In covering this story, the media positively helped us focus on an issue that affects our lives, and one that we might not be even have been aware of it. It has not been for reporting. There are several instances when the media fails to focus on issues that are significant in our lives, means important in our lives. For example, drinking water is a major problem of the country, and in future we are going to face a very strong problem in the coming time regarding water only. Every year, thousands of people suffer and die because they do not get safe drinking water, which clothes design safe drinking water. However, we seldom find the media discussing this issue. A well-known Indian journalist wrote of how the fashion week in which clothes designers show their new creations to rich people formed the front page news headlines of all the newspapers, while several slums were being demolished in Mumbai the same day or the same week, but no news came on any of the news channels and nobody paid attention to it. As the citizens of a democratic country or democracy, the media has a very important role to play in our lives, because it is through the media that we hear about issues related to working of the government. The media describes what to focus on, and in this way it sets the agenda. The government can at times prevent the media from publishing a story, that is called censorship. Nowadays, media's close relationship with business often means that a balanced report is difficult to come by. Given this, it is important for us to be aware that the factual information that a news report provides is often not complete and can be one sided. We therefore need to analyze the news by asking the following questions. So, we have to ask these questions to ourselves and to other persons, that what is the information I am learning from the report. So, any report you are getting, so first you focus that what you are learning really from that, what is the real information given by that. Second thing, what information is not being provided. So anything is missing also, I am knowing or I am having certain information which has not been presented by them, and I know that it is not the real one, it is not the truth, but then also at that moment I have to tell them that yes, this has been omitted, but here this problem was existing. From whose point of view is the article being written? So for whose point of view, whether it is for attracting a very small age group, or for attracting the teenagers, for attracting the youth, or for attracting the old people, like that it should be there. From that is the point of view, whose point of view is being let out and why. And if anybody is giving the point of view, so whose belief has been left out, they are not focusing on, and why they have left that particular thing. So these all things we are having, and this covers your chapter. And most probably I will say that this chapter is nothing but it is simply saying you about the different kinds of media, or why the media is important, what is local media, what is media and democracy, what is democracy, and why democracy is important, why media and how media is related to money, why media and technologies are equally important, why some of the inventions came into this world which changed our whole mindset, and why it is necessary to understand media. Different media forms were shown to you. So this is your chapter. I hope you might have understood this thing. By this short note only we will be completing our chapter. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the channel. It's yours faithful Prabhash, and I hope have a good day all of you.